All right, so it's time to talk a little football, right? The Las Vegas Raiders, and I picked it right. So did Ken Thomson, who's going to be joining us on the line in a second here. I said that the Raiders were in trouble, and I thought Buffalo was going to win the game, and they did, and they won pretty handily. A lot of injuries on the Raiders, but I've said about the Raiders all along that they're an average team. They're going to beat bad teams. They're going to lose to really good teams. They're somewhere in the middle of the pack, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and they could get better over the course of the year. But let's bring Ken Thomson on from SportsXRadio. You hear him on KDWN Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 p.m. We have him on Fridays, but since we're taking the day off tomorrow, we figured we'd have Ken on today. Ken, thanks for joining us. How are you?
What's up, KT?
Brian, what's going on? What's up, JD? How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Ken, do you agree with what I just said, that the Raiders are an average, mediocre football team? They're going to beat bad teams, and they're going to lose to good teams. I mean, I know that's a lot of, generalization there, but do you agree with that?
I don't. I mean, I agree with it when they're shorthanded like they are. You haven't had the chance to get the whole squad together. When the squad that they have right now on paper is together and healthy, I think this team will definitely be above average, no question.
All right, well, and that's fair. I don't want to mischaracterize what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to be like that in a month from now or maybe even 2 weeks from now. I'm just saying right now, they're a mediocre, average football team. I want to talk to you a little bit about Derek Carr because, watching the game on Sunday and seeing his mannerisms, I think he's a great kid. I think he's extremely talented. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sure, and maybe I'm wrong in thinking this, Ken, but I'm not sure he has that killer competitive drive that other quarterbacks in the league have. I watched him after he lost the game against Buffalo, nothing but smiles and pointing to the sky, and he just didn't look like a quarterback that just lost a football game. I mean, am I wrong in those assumptions about him?
Well, you are if you listen to the press conference where he said, I'm sick of losing. Yeah, I don't want to have this anymore. He was generally ticked off, but because Derek Carr is not like you when you're losing in video poker or like me when I'm losing a sports bet, you think that you're taking that the wrong way. His energy is channeled into his face stronger than probably any person that I know as far as in the sports world. So he has that extra sense of restraint that you and I don't have, and so sometimes we may take it the wrong way. But he was generally ticked off, and he said he's tired of coming close. He doesn't want to come close. They're going to go into Kansas City with the mentality to win the game, not to hang in there, not to make it look good, not to cover a spread, but to go in there and generally think that this team in the division, as good as they are, if they can get any type of Kansas City effort like the Chiefs showed in the first half against New England, the Raiders will for sure be in the game.
So you're saying that Brian and yourself are sore losers and Derek Carr is a good loser. I can appreciate that.
No,
I didn't say we're losers. I mean, we're just competitive.
Right.
I mean, and you are too, JD. I mean, at the end of the day,
I'm very competitive.
When I lose and it's a sport that I'm playing, I'm generally upset at myself.
Listen, but Ken, let me just chime in here. I'm not saying that I think Derek Carr needs to be a sore loser. What I am saying is that when a quarterback loses a football game, and I understand he made some comments in the press conference, but when the cameras aren't in front of you, and they weren't when I watched the game on Sunday after the game, and I see a quarterback laughing, and listen, I don't want to compare him to Tom Brady. I don't want to compare him to Pat Mahomes or some of the best to ever play the game. That's high regard. I'm not going to do that. But you see some quarterbacks out there, and when they lose a football game, they're pissed off. Now, maybe he was pissed off. All I'm saying is after the game, 5-10 minutes, he certainly didn't show it. That's all I'm saying. But let's move on to this game against the Kansas City Chiefs. The line is somewhere around 13. Again, we know how good the Chiefs are, even though their offense looked a little anemic at times the other day. I'm happy that Carr said that, and they have the mentality that they want to go in there and win. This is a tall task for them. Let's be honest. The Chiefs are a really good football team. What do you say, Ken?
No, there's no doubt. The Chiefs are a good football team. They're going to have 16,000 fans there. Those 16,000 fans will make as much noise as some places with 35,000. They're used to winning. So the Raiders need to, what I'm saying, if I win the toss or if Kansas City defers and I get that ball, need to go down and score. Not get a couple first downs, need to go down there and make a statement. Because let's face it, you're not shutting Kansas City out. Last year the Raiders did that. First quarter, 10-0 Raiders. Second quarter, 28-0 Chiefs. So they've got that capability. Mahomes is able to turn it on. He's able to come back. We saw that in the playoffs last year. So you've got to go in there and say, look, what we did was try to strengthen our team to play with Kansas City. Now, the sad thing is we don't know about Ruggs. We don't know about Edwards. The injuries on the receiving core are killing them. But let's remember, last week, Aguilar has a touchdown.
Yeah.
Illegal formation. Are you kidding me? If that touchdown's good, Buffalo's in trouble. That's a good, solid Buffalo secondary that they burned on that long play. Aguilar stepped up. He's doing his job. Then Waller fumbles by the sideline. Another major faux pas. These are key plays that are the difference between winning and losing. When you play a Kansas City Chiefs, especially in Arrowhead, you cannot make any mistakes, and you've got to get pressure on the quarterback. Even when you get pressure, this guy makes plays, but you've got to get pressure. You can't have one sack a game and no turnovers. You've got to get turnovers, and you've got to make plays. You've got to make Mahomes uncomfortable.
Well, Josh Allen is more.
They didn't get jobbed at the end of that first half there on that blown call with Mahomes in the grass, which is absolutely bogus when you protect someone that much. That just shows you what you're up against with Mahomes in Kansas City.
Well, I think that Josh Allen is actually more athletic than Mahomes, so they'll have an easier time getting to Mahomes than they did with Josh Allen. What's the injury report looking like right now for both the Chiefs and the Raiders, particularly on the Raiders' O-line, because the Raiders are very, very good at running the ball, and the Chiefs are actually very poor at defending the run.
Yeah, well, the Trent Brown's still questionable with that calf, again, trying to be able to push off. So, here's the thing with the Raiders. You got Josh Jacobs, but everybody knows you got Josh Jacobs.
Right.
You cannot run on first down, second down. What they're doing is putting themselves in 2nd and 9, 3rd and 6. You can't have that. You've got to be on the positive side, so you got 3rd and 3. You can open up the playbook. You've got a guy like Hunter Renfrow that freaking doesn't drop anything. And this guy drops not one pass, anything near him, and this guy's got pretty good speed. You've got Waller. You've got some playmakers. Like I said, Aguilar stepped up. Zay Jones doing a decent job. You need to get Ruggs back because that is your burner. That is your Tyreek Hill guy that's going to stretch the field, take double coverage, give you something underneath, and also open up Waller one-on-one sometimes. And then you need to flare Josh Jacobs out of the backfield the way New Orleans does with Kamara. You also got to use Jalen Richard, and you've got to use Booker as well. You've got to use these guys, flare passes, and Carr needs to get outside the pocket more often, give himself a run-pass option. He is not slow. He runs a pretty good 40. And he needs to not be afraid and just go for it. If they do that with that mentality, they give themselves a chance because they've got to make up for what the defense doesn't do, and that's pressure the opposing quarterback.
Well, we know that Kansas City's corners, L'Jarius Sneed is out, but Rashad Breeland's out. I think their secondary is actually very questionable outside of obviously Tyrann Mathieu, who's had a huge year. But Damon Arnett didn't play last week. They have Trayvon Mullins. I'm talking about the Raiders now. How are the Raiders looking at cornerback? Because as the Chiefs go, they go 4 deep at wide receiver.
Yeah, well, Arnett's out for a while. Mullins did a nice job last year. The kid out of Clemson stepped up, and I thought he was going to be, starter coming into this season, but Arnett impressed inside of practice. But at the end of the day, the Raiders are capable, but again, they've got to play almost a perfect game. They really do. You're going to give up touchdowns to Kansas City.
Right.
More than likely, if you try and get into a shootout with them, you're not going to win too often. But it's really the only chance you have. You can't go in with that conservative mentality. We're going to run Jacobs. We're going to work the clock. We're going to do. You can't. It's not going to work with Kansas City. It may work for a quarter like it did last year, but it's not going to work overall because Andy Reid will adjust, and their defense, like Green Bay's, better than advertised against the run. And so if they're able to slow down Jacobs, and he was slowed down last week, that makes the Raiders, under pressure because, again, you're playing with 2nd and 9, 3rd and 6, and those are not good situations to be in.
All right, so Ken, we both picked the game correctly. Sadly, I wanted the Raiders to win, but we picked the game correctly last week. I'm 4-0 with Raiders games so far this year. I'm perfect. I know that's going to end very soon. Let me give you my pick. First of all, with the spread, I'm going to take the Raiders with the points. I think 13 is too much. If it was around 10, I'd lay off. I think the Raiders keep this game close. For whatever reason, I'm feeling that the Raiders make this a competitive football game. With that being said, I think the Chiefs win. I'm taking the plus 13. I'm staying away from the total. What do you say?
I agree with you, and I would probably look at the Raiders' first half, man. That's what I want, because if they're not in this game at halftime, they're not going to be in it at the end of the game. I really think they've got to get off to a good start. They've got to come out. They've got to be determined and show, look, we made moves free agency-wise. We made moves as far as in the drafts, the last 2 drafts, that are getting our team closer to the level of Kansas City. We still got a ways to go. They're the bar. They set the bar high.
Sure.
We know how good Mahomes is. As lousy as they were first half. And you look at that score, 26-10 final against New England, very deceiving. And so that's why the spread is as high as it is.
The Patriots, they had 2 goal line turnovers in that game.
Yeah, and if I could just add something, Ken, to what you just said, because I completely agree. When you look at even the Buffalo game last week, they allowed Buffalo to march down the field in the first possession and score a touchdown. Even with that said, if the Raiders had better ball security, they could have easily won that football game last week. But I agree with you. The Raiders have to get off to a better start, whether they have the football or they don't. The defense needs to step up. Make a team go 3 and out to start a game. I just think that would be huge for this team.
Do you see this game hitting 14?
Somewhere along the line, maybe. I don't know. I really. Oh, do I see it going to 14?
Yeah.
I can. Yeah, public money for sure.
Yeah.
I would think would be on Kansas City. But yeah, I agree with Brian. I think the Raiders will cover this game. I think it's going to be a lot closer game. This is a rivalry. It's a divisional game. Raiders are not intimidated. They know what they get with Kansas City. It's a solid squad. But I'm really thinking that the Raiders are going to go in there and they're going to get off to a good start. And they're going to play a good ball. Good ball. And I don't think Gruden will be conservative. I think he'll go for things because you're going to, if you sit back defensively, Gunther sits back defensively, you're going to die the death of 1,000 cuts. You don't want to do that. Either get in there. Look, if they burn you on a couple long ones, so be it. But you got to get in Mahomes' face, put him on his wallet a couple times. Even if you don't sack him, put him on his wallet, let him know you're going to be there all day.